YouTube channel Easy Explanation. In this tutorial we will be learning about decision control instructions and what are the different decision control instructions used in C programming language in detail. So in our daily life we need to make lots of decisions, something like if it rains I will stay at home, if weather is fine I will go for walk, if I will pass exam I will get a job, something like this. In our everyday life we need to make lots of decisions. Like I will stay at home is a decision that will make based on some conditions, right? This is a decision that I am making based on what? On some condition. Here in this case also I am making this decision based on this condition. Based on this condition I am making some decision here. Similarly in C programming language we need to execute some set of instructions based on some given conditions, right? So in C programming language we need to make decision or you need to execute the set of instruction. I will write it here. In C programming language we need to execute set of instructions based on some condition. So in C programming language we need to execute some set of instruction or set of instructions based on some conditions, right? So in C programming we have three decision control instructions that you need to keep in mind. In C programming language we have three decision control instructions. They are if statement, if else statement and switch statement. So there are other variants of if statement and if statement as well. So you'll be learning all these variants of if else statement in detail here, as well as the switch statement. So before going into the topic of how this decision control instruction work, we need to understand the basic of how programs are normally executed in C programming language. Let us say I have main function, something like this, int main, then we have a statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, statement n. So what normally happens here is all these statements are executed sequentially. So normally in C programming language the statements are executed sequentially one after the another. So first statement 1 will be executed, then statement 2, then statement 3, and finally statement n will be executed. So there will be sequential execution of the statement. So by using the decision control structure, we can apply or we can execute this statement or any of the given statement if the condition evaluates to true, or for a given condition only we can execute some set of a statement. Or you can understand this thing in another way, something like, so suppose one statement is there and you want to execute that statement based on some condition. So decision control structure help you to specify the condition, okay, and if the condition evaluates to true then you can execute the set of a statement. If that condition evaluates to false then you can execute some other set of a statement. That is the reason why we have to learn about decision control instruction in C programming language. So executing the set of instruction based on some condition. Okay, so let us learn each of these constructs one by one. So the first thing that we will be learning is if statement. So the first is if statement. What is if statement? So first we have to understand the syntax of if statement. If expression and this statement blocks. Okay. This is the statement blocks. And how does this work? I'll write the working also. So if keyword, so this is the if keyword here. If keyword tells the compiler this is the start of decision control instructions. Okay, so the if keyword tells the compiler that the statement that follows after it will be decision control instruction. So the expression should be evaluated to Boolean value, either true or false. So 1 stands for true and 0 stands for false. So this expression should be evaluated to Boolean value, either true or false. Now if the expression evaluates to true, then a statement within if block will be executed. So if this expression evaluates to true, okay, this expression should yield what? The Boolean value, either true or false. So if the expression evaluates to true, then only this statement or the block of a statement will be executed. So these brackets or the statement within this bracket are called as what? If block. So the if block will be executed only when this expression evaluates to true. Okay, when this expression evaluates to true, then only the statement within this block will be executed. Now how to write the expression? How to write the expression? The expression can be written as relational expression. Relational expression means by using less than, greater than, less than equals to symbol, greater than equals to symbol, not equals to and equals to symbol. Expression can be written as a relational expression or any valid expression that results Boolean value. So you can use logical operator to combine the two relational expression, right? So the expression can be expressed using the relational expression or by using any valid Boolean expression. So if this expression evaluates to true, then this set of statement will be executed. So I hope every one of you have idea about how the if statement will work. Now let us execute one code based on this if statement. If test.c. So let us say I will ask a user to enter a number. If the user enter number less than 10, then I will print thank you. So the program will ask the user to enter a number less than 10 if entered number is less than 10, then print thank you. Okay, so we'll be writing a program that will print thank you when the user enter a number less than 10. So hash include stdio.h int main. Okay, so I'll create a variable called as a num to store a number entered by the user. We'll write one display statement, enter a number less than 10. Okay, so to accept or to read the value entered by the user, we have to use a scanf statement. Since this is an integer we are trying to read, so the format string will be %t and %num. So the number will be stored where? At the address of num. Now what we have to do, we have to check if whether the user has entered the number less than 10 or not. So if the given number is less than 10, okay, then we have to print what? Printf thank you. Now see how this statement will work. First, return 0. So we'll ask the user to enter a number. Now as the program asks us, enter a number less than 10, and if the number is less than 10, if the user entered a number less than 10, how to compare it? So since we have to create one valid expression for that, so if number is less than 10, if this expression evaluates to true, then it will print what? Thank you. So this block will be executed, this highlighted block will be executed only when this expression evaluates to true. When this expression evaluates to false, then it will do nothing. The control will come to line number 13, or in this case line number 14. So if this expression evaluates to true, then this if block will be executed. If this expression evaluates to false, then directly line number 14 will be executed, or in this case line number 13 will be executed. I will save the code and try to execute this code. So you can see I have a file if test.c. since I am using GCC compiler to execute the code, and in the terminal the command to execute the code is gcc if _test.c. If everything is fine, compilation will be successful, and then execute the executable file. Enter a number less than 10, I will say 11. See, we are not getting any result because the number that I have entered is more than 10. So here I have entered 11, right? Compare 11 with 10. 11 is less than 10, condition evaluates to false, so this statement is not executed. We directly go to return 0, so the program will terminate here. Now let us say if the user entered 9, okay, it is printing what? Thank you. This is what we are trying to get here. So you can see if I am entering 9, so 9 is less than 10 is what? True. It will say 1. So if 1 or if true, it will execute the statement within this block, so it will print thank you message. Okay, so in this way this thing works, or the if statement works. Let us write one more program for the if statement. The program is event checker, event check.c, program to check whether bar is even. Okay, so what type of number is called as even number? The number that is exactly divisible by 2. right? So the number that is exactly divisible by 2. What do you mean by exactly divisible? So if I am dividing the number by 2, it should throw the remainder as 0, right? So we'll be using that logic to implement the code. Has include stdio.h int main, now int num, printf, enter a number to check scanf percentage d ampersand num. Now I have to check for this number whether this number is even or not. So if the given number when divided by 2 gets the remainder 0, so if the number produces, if this expression produces the remainder 0 and if it equates to 0, means 0 equals to 0 is what? True. If this condition become true, then we print what? Percentage d is even number and num, return 0. Let us execute this code also. Okay, so clear gcc even check.c and /a dot out. Enter numbers to check 7. So here, when I'm entering the number 7, what happens? It does not print anything. Why does not print anything? Let us say the num value is 7. 7 modulus 2 is what? 1. If you divide 7 by 2, the remainder will be 1. So 1 equals to 0 is false. Since this expression evaluates to false, the block will not be executed. So it does not print anything here. So it does not print anything here. Now let us execute this code one more time. Enter a number. Let us say I've entered 8. It is printing what? 8 is even number. So when the number is 8, so this statement will be evaluated. 8 modulus 2 will be what? 0, because 2 exactly divide 8. So 0 equals to 0 is true. So since the expression evaluates to true, this block of a statement will be executed. So it will print what? 8 is even number. This is the result which I have got here. So please have a good look at this program. Now once you have an idea of how the if statement works, now let us go for the another statement. Now let us go for another statement, if else statement. If else statement. So the if else statement is also used to execute the decision control instruction. So first learn the syntax. Syntax of if else statement. If expression, then if blocks or statement blocks, else statement block. So you have to understand how these things work. I'll write it down. Working of if else statement. So same as the if statement, if the expression evaluates to true, if a statement block will be executed if the expression evaluates to false, else block else statement block will be executed. See, this is the block for else and this is the block for if. Okay, so if this expression evaluates to true, right, if this expression evaluates to true, then this block will be executed. If this expression evaluates to false, then else block statement will be executed, right? So in this case, see, in this program we have, if the user is entering the number less than 10, then I am printing thank you. But what will happen if the user enter the number more than 10? She does not do anything. So that part will be handled in the else block, right? That part will be handled in the else block. So let us write a program to demonstrate the uses of if-else statement. So again, write the code odd even dot c program to check whether the given number is even or odd. Dot h int main, now int num enter number scanf %d ampersand num. Okay, so since you have to check whether the given number is even or odd, so if num modulus 2 equals to 0, then it will be printf /n %d is even number, num else printf %d is odd number num, return 0. Okay, so how does this thing works? So if this expression evaluates to true, then if block will be executed. If this expression evaluates to false, then this block will be executed. You cannot write any relational expression something like this here. This is wrong. You cannot write any expression here. This is a wrong statement. So you never do that, or you can never write something like this. This is again wrong. So if you write this, although this expression will combine or this program will compile, what will it will tell the compiler that the else block end here, because in C program the semicolon stands for program termination or statement termination. So your compiler will assume the else block has terminated here. So you can never write something like this. If you write anything like this, your compiler will think what? Your if statement has been terminated here. So this block will be executed whether or not this condition is true or false. Okay, so you never write something like this. So this is not the way to write the code. Now you never write the semicolon here or here. All the statement must be grouped into a block like this. If statement has been grouped into a block, this else statement has been grouped into a block. So this is the standard procedure that we need to follow while writing the code. Now let's execute this code again. gcc odd even.c ./a.out. Enter a number, let us say 5. Now it is saying 5 is a odd number. Let us trace this code. 5 modulus 2 is 1. 1 equals to 0 is false. If this expression evaluates to false, then else block will be executed. This block will be executed and it will print what? 5 is odd number. That's the reason why we are getting the result 5 is odd number. Now if I'll write 4, it is printing what? 4 is even number. So if then the value of num is 4, 4 modulus 2 equals to 0 is true. So if this expression evaluates to true, then if block will be executed. What we have in if block? Percentage d is even number, so it will print 4 is even number. Okay. So in this way, if else statement will work. Now there is something called as nested if else statement. So what is nested? Nested means nesting. So we can write any number of valid if else block within given if else block. So we can write any number of valid if else statement within the given if else statement. So the syntax will be something like this. So if expression and if expression else expression, then else within this part if expression else. Within else also you can write any number of if else statement. So let us see how does this statement works. So this is the if block, outer if block, and this is the outer else block. So you have to understand this. This is the outer if block and this is the outer else block. So if this expression evaluates to true, if this expression, this highlighted expression evaluates to true, line number 68, if this expression evaluates to true, then all the statement within this block will be executed. Okay. Now if this expression evaluates to false, if line number 68 evaluates to false, then else block will be executed. Okay, so you have to understand, if the outer loop, if the outer block expression evaluates to false, then else will be executed. If the outer block expression evaluates to true, then if a statement will be executed. Now if this expression evaluates to true, then this statement will be executed. Now again we have to check for one more condition. If this expression evaluates to true, then this statement will be executed, otherwise this statement will be executed. Now if this expression evaluates to false, if this expression evaluates to false, then a statement within this block will be executed. In this block we have if else block here. So after this statement has been executed, so you will be checking one more condition. If this expression evaluates to true, then all the statement within this block will be executed, otherwise the statement within this block will be executed. Again we have one more expression and else. If this expression evaluates to true, then this block will be executed, otherwise this block will be executed. So you can write any number of valid if else statement within the given if else statement. If such is the case, we call it as what? Nested if else statement. So you have to keep in mind. So let us write one more program to understand the concept of nested if else statement. So nested if else dot c. So C program to find largest among three number. So to find the largest number among three given numbers, we will be using the concept of nested if else statement. Okay, we will be using the concept of nested if else statement. So first understand the logic, how to test whether the given which is the largest number among three. Let us say we have three given number 20, 10 and 50. So obviously 50 is the largest number. So how we can find out that? So first we'll compare 20 with 10, right? 20 with 10. So since 20 is greater than 10, we'll be comparing 20 with 50, right? So 20 is greater than 10 means 10 is the smallest. Now if I'm comparing 20 with 50, then 50 is greater than 20. So which will be the largest? 50 will be the largest. So in this case 10 will be smaller than 20 and 20 is smaller than 50. So we'll be using this analogy to test whether the given which is the largest number among three given number. Int main. For to store three number, we will be creating three variables: int a, b, c. Printf enter three numbers. Okay, scanf %d %a, one more %d for address of b, and for address of c one more %d. So you have to keep in mind this thing while writing the code. Now let us write the logic to find the largest number among three numbers. So you have three variable if a, b and c. So if a is greater than b, okay, if a is greater than b, and again if a is greater than c, a is greater than b as well as a greater than c, then which will be the largest number? Printf %d %d is largest. It means which is largest number? A will be the largest number, right? If a is greater than b and a is greater than c, it means what? A is largest number among b and c. Now suppose else if a is greater than b, if a is greater than b is true, a is greater than c is also true, then a will be largest. But if a is greater than b but a is less than c, a is greater than b but if a is less than c, then which will be the largest number? The largest number will be c. So /n %d is largest comma c. Okay, now let us say if this expression evaluates to false, if this expression evaluates to false, it means what? B is larger than a, right? So in the else block we'll write if this expression evaluates to false, it means what? B is larger than a, and then if b is larger than c, they will tell what? Printf /n %d is largest. Which will be the largest number here? B. Now the else part for this will be, now see here, if this expression evaluates to false, then b is greater than a, right? If b is greater than a is true, if b greater than a is true and b greater than c is also true, then b is largest. But if b is less than c, suppose, then which will be the largest number? C will be the largest number. So you can take three numbers, compare this thing here and try to get the result. Largest comma C, return 0. Now you can see all these statements are written in block alignment. So this is one if else block. Now this else block correspond to this if block, right? So this if block has this else statement, and for this if block we have this else statement. So the pairing is necessary. So if this expression evaluates to false, then this else part will be executed. If this expression evaluates to false, then this else block will be executed. So you have to write in pair. okay, while writing the if else statement and creating the if else block. Okay, so in this way we can write the code to find out the largest among three number using the nested if statement. So let us execute this code. So there is error and warning in main function printf undeclared function printf. So why it is throwing the error undeclared function printf? Because printf is, so C compiler will be referring the printf function from stdio.h file, but I have forget to mention the inclusion of library stdio.h, so it is throwing the error. So I have to always tell the compiler what is the source of any given statement. So stdio.h, so the source of printf statement is which library function? stdio.h. stdio.h file contains the definition of printf function. So this is the basic of C programming. If you do not know, then you can understand this concept this way. So that is the reason why it throws the error here. Now hope the error is solved. So the error is solved now. So in this way what you can do is, like if you are very much new to the programming language and you are frequently getting the errors, so first you should have the habit of reading the error line to line. So once you start understanding the errors, then make changes in your code as per the errors. So in this way you can learn the C programming language by this trial and hit error concept. So let us enter the three number 10, 20 and 30. So 30 is largest, correct. -1, -2, -3. -1 is largest. 10 -1, 100. 100 is largest. Okay, so in this way we can write the C program to find out the largest among three numbers using the nested if statement. Okay, now we have another statement called as a else if block. We have another statement called as a else if block. Else if block. So similar to nested if else statement, we can specify multiple conditions using the else if block. Similar to if else statement, we can specify multiple condition using else if statement. Now the syntax of, so either you can use else if block or nested if else statement to specify the multiple condition, right? You can see the if else statement can be little bit complex in writing. Sometimes the if else statement, like if you have multiple nesting of if else statement, then it can be complex to understand. So you can simplify this thing using the else if block also. Okay, so the syntax of else if statement is something like this: if expression, then a statement block, else if a statement expression, a statement block, then again else if expression, statement block. So you can write n number of else if statement. As many conditions you have, you can specify that number of else if statement, and at last else statement. So let us understand how does this thing work. So first this expression will be evaluated. If this expression evaluates to true, then this block will be executed. Now suppose this expression evaluates to false. Now if this expression evaluates to false, then we'll go for line number 106. This expression will be statement will be evaluated. If this expression evaluates to true, then this block will be executed. Otherwise, we'll go for another else if block. Now if this expression evaluates to true, then this block will be executed. Otherwise, we'll go for other else if statement if it is there. If all this expression evaluates to false, then finally the else statement will be executed. So we can check multiple condition using else if statement. Okay, we can check multiple condition using the else if statement. So it acts as a else if ladder. First, this expression will be evaluated. If it is true, then if block will be executed. Otherwise, this else if block will be executed. Otherwise, this else if block will be executed. If all these expression evaluates to false, then only else block will be executed. So let us write a code to test for the else if block. Else if stat.c. So what I'll do is, we'll be writing the same program. I'll try to write the code for this same program, largest among 3 number using else if statement. Okay, largest among 3 numbers using else if statement. Hash include stdio.h. So find largest among 3 number using else if statement. So we can copy most of the thing like this: declaration and reading, control B. Now see how we can write that. If A is greater than B and A is greater than C. So you see here I have used valid logical expression to combine this relational expression, right? You can also use it in your code. Now printf /n %d is largest. Which is largest here? A. Now if line number 9 evaluates to false, then we'll write another else if block. Here we'll be testing for B. So if B is greater than C, B is greater than A, and B is greater than C, it means what? B is the largest number. So printf %d is largest, comma B. Now if both of these blocks, like if line number 9 and line number 13 evaluates to false, then else block will be executed and it will print what? By default, which will be the largest number here? C will be the largest number here. /n %d is largest, comma C, and return 0. Else if statement. Compilation successful. Let us execute the code. -100 -120. 100 is largest number. 20, 3 and 40. 40 is largest number. So our code is working perfectly fine. So you can see this is your else if statement. This was for nested if statement, and this is for else if statement. Okay, I hope everyone if you have understood about this. Now finally we have switch statement. So after if else, nested if else, and else if block, we have final. It must be fourth, right? Fourth we have switch statement. So switch statement helps in choosing or help us to choose from number of given alternatives. If we have multiple options, alternatives or options, if we have multiple options available and if you have to choose one of them, then switch will be the best C statement to use there. And switch statement is used to create menu based program. Menu based program, something like this, like imagine you are in ATM. So when you swipe the card, then you get one message there, message box there in the ATM screen, like press this button to deposit, press this button to withdraw, press this button to know your balance, press this button to know your bank statement. Okay, so if you have multiple options available, you will be pressing one button there. Suppose if you press withdraw, then you can perform the operation of withdrawing. If you press the button for check balance, then it will execute some statement and it will print your amount balance on the screen. So if you want to create the menu based program, then switch is the best statement to use. Now what is the syntax of the switch statement? Syntax of the switch statement is switch then it will be expression, we'll be writing expression here, then case constant 1, statement case constant 2, statement case constant 3 colon statement, then you can write any number of cases. So cases stand for options. So these are the different options. So you have to choose one options among them. So case constant n and then a statement. If any of these options do not matches, then we have another statement called as a default. Then default statement will be executed. Okay, so what do we make constant here? So the constant should be either integer constant or character constant. So this constant that we are specifying here, constant 1, constant 2, constant 3, constant n, should be either integer constant or character constant. And this expression, the expression should be evaluated to integer constant or character constant. See, what happens is user will provide one choice in the form of this integer constant and character constant. So user will provide his choice, so his choice will be matched here. So whether he has entered choice for constant 1, constant 2 or constant 3, whoever choice is made, suppose the choice is matched here, then this statement will be executed. So constant 3 statement will be executed, all these statement will not be executed. If none of these choice matches, then by default the default statement will be executed. So in this way the switch statement works. So let us write a code to understand the switch statement. Okay, switch test.c. So what we will do is we will write a program, C program, to create menu based calculator. Okay, menu based calculator means your C program should show you menu something like press plus for addition, minus for subtraction, asterisk for division, asterisk for multiplication, and slash for division. So it will expect the user to enter either plus, minus, multiply or divide, any of this symbol. If the user presses plus symbol, then the add operation should be done. If the user presses minus symbol, then subtraction operation should be done. If the user presses asterisk symbol, then multiplication operation. For the slash, division operation should be done. So let us write the code to execute this program based on switch statement. So hash include stdio.h int main. Now first we'll create a menu, printf /n will not write this thing, place plus 4 addition, minus 4 subtraction, asterisk 4 multiply, and slash 4 division. So it will display a simple menu to the user. Either press or enter plus for addition, minus for subtraction, asterisk for multiply, and slash for division. So user will enter his or choice. Let us say, since choice will be user will be giving character as an input, we will be creating one variable called a char ch or char choice. So the choice will be entered where? At the address of choice. Scanf %c ampersand choice. Okay, scanf %c ampersand choice. So user will be entering plus, minus, multiply and divide, which are a character constant. So we'll be using %c and char data type to store that. Now we'll ask the user to enter two numbers. Printf enter two numbers for operation scanf. So two numbers. So for that we will be creating an integer data type int a comma b, %d, then ampersand a comma ampersand b. After that, let us start the switch. Control Z, switch. Now choice. See, this choice is provided by the user. Now I have to match this choice to these cases, available cases. Match the choice to these available cases. So if the choice is plus, right, that's the reason why I have written case plus. If the user has entered the choice as plus symbol, then what we have to do is printf sum equals to %d /n a plus b. Okay, if the case is minus, then printf difference equals to %d a minus b. Then it will for multiplication and another is for division. Product equals to this, and in this case we will have result equals to this. This will be a multiply b, this will be a divide by b. So if the user enter plus, then this will be matched. First case will be matched and it will print what? Sum value. If the user enters minus as a choice, then case minus will be matched and difference will be calculated. So in this way work. Now suppose if the user entered character do not matches plus, minus, multiply and divide, then by default block will be executed and it will printf /n invalid operator. Okay, so in this way you can specify the switch statement, and at last write the switch statement, return 0. Now let's execute this code. So you can have a good look at this code again. Something like this. Okay, now let us execute this code. Switch test dot out. Now it is asking me, see, it is asking me to enter one of these choices. So the choice is suppose plus. Now what the output I should get? Now enter the two number is telling me, okay, obviously. So 10 and 2. So you can see it is printing all the results, sum, difference, product and result. But what it should have done? It should have only done this part. Since I've entered plus, so it should have printed only the sum value. But what it is doing is it is printing all these possibles. It is printing difference also, product also, division also, as well as default part also. So how to avoid that? So after execution of this statement, specify the break statement. So when you match plus here, this printf will be executed, and after the break it will come out of the switch statement and the program will be terminated. So after every block statement, write the break. Okay, so in this way you can now see. If I write plus 10 and 2, then only sum equals to 12 is printed. In this case it is printing all these things because we have left the break statement. It is printing all these things because we have left the break statement of the given statement. After including the break statement, it is executing only the sum part. Okay, so in this way it works. So let us one more time, let us trace this code. If the user entered plus and the two numbers are 10 and 2, so switch choice means switch plus, then first case will be matched. First case is what? Plus. So this will be matched, so this statement will be executed. So it will print something like sum equals to 12, and after encountering break it will come out of the loop. Instead of plus, if it has said multiply, then what will happen? So switch multiply, first match plus with star, it does not match, then match minus with a star, it does not match star with a star, it matches here. So it will print product equals to 10 into 2, which will be 20 if you have entered choice as a star. Now if you will enter any other character except plus, minus, multiply and divide, then it will execute by default statement. So we'll be checking for default as well. Let us say if I have entered equals to 10 and 2, invalid operator it telling us. So in this way the switch statement work. So in this tutorial we have talked about the decision control instructions. So I hope every one of you have understood the concept. If you have any queries regarding this, please mention in the comment section. We'll try to answer that. And please like, comment and subscribe our channel for more interesting videos. Thank you for listening everyone. Bye bye.